I'm Shelley Craft. Welcome to Pacifico Cottage. Please excuse my doormat. Come on in for a virtual open home. I'm going to take you on a little tour of the house, and then I'm going to sit down and have a chat about the IKEA solutions that we have in this place. So come on through. As you know, we're all homeschooling at the moment. So the girls are here, the dogs are here. This is live. Who knows how it's going to go? But this is our main living area. This little cottage we renovated in about 9 weeks. It was a very quick one, and it's sort of our interim home while we're building another place. I know renovating, building, it's our life. It's also a very bad habit that I suggest you don't get into. Come on in, I'll take you on a little tour around the place. It's a very easy living home, and it's all about us spending time together as a family and, of course, making light work of what is, at the moment, a pretty difficult home situation with everyone here in the one spot. And as the place is quite small, there's not a lot of breakout areas, but, you know, the good old home movie, or as I like to say, our science and biology lessons at homeschooling with a bit of Disney Channel thrown in, Disney Plus. The kitchen itself was an amazing renovation because we took the sink out of the island and put it over under the window, giving us what I call the heart of the home, which I'm sure everyone agrees. Every kitchen bench is the heart of your home. And no, it never, ever, ever looks like this. I've tidied up just for you. My favourite room in the house, being the laundry, is behind this door, which you don't get to see today. We have a bathroom over here, which is more as a powder room and for guests, and then into our kitchen. Now, this is where the fun really happens, and this is where IKEA seriously helps me out, because I'm not a great cook, but I am a clean freak, and I love everything to be in its place. So I'd have to say the pantry is one of my proudest moments. Are you ready? Here we go. Oh, yes, look at that. Everything in its place. This is where the girls can access their own treats down here in these fabulous little bamboo boxes. Of course, what I thought was ingenious, but perhaps other people have done this for years, I just didn't know about it, but the Lazy Susan in your pantry. Oh, hallelujah. Means you don't have to dig down the back. You can just spin and spin and spin and spin. And then, of course, these beautiful glass containers with the bamboo lids, and they shut down so tight, keeping everything beautiful and fresh. And you can also see how much you have left of everything. When you're getting low, you know you are. And you also know your nuts way down the back are always going to be fresh. So perhaps my proudest moment, to be honest, over this whole Corona period. There we go. All right. Our dining table has been converted into our home school, and of course our home office as well. So a lot of the time you'll find the four of us sitting around here doing our work. Miller, you're being incredibly studious, my sweetheart. Are you working hard? Yes? I know. Am I interrupting you? Excellent. PDH. Okay, we're designing a playground for PDH, which is pretty exciting considering we haven't been allowed to go to a playground for quite some time. So I hope you're coming up with some good ideas. And then you're reading?
I've just read them.
Okay.
And
you've done your maths. We should do this at home more often. They're being very good for you today. Of course, my bonquette has become our creating play area. And yes, we are a little bit inspired by Lego Masters at the moment. So, you know, the bonquette's getting a workout. It's no longer our dining area. This is our office. We're going to move in to, I'd say, our IKEA room, if I can be that honest. This is the girls' bedroom. Are you ready? Hi, Edie. Hi. Okay. There's a lot in here. Let's go. Ta-da! Voila. Welcome to Edie's bedroom. Now, when we first moved in to Pacifico Cottage, this was going to be where both the girls lived. Miller has since moved out into the spare room, which I appreciate everyone needs their own space, particularly, as I said, at this time. In a house that only has 3 bedrooms, I really wanted a spare room. We do have a lot of guests and grandmas come to stay, and it would have been nice to have that just set up for them, but, you know, life changes a little bit. So what we have is a fabulous bunk bed, which has got the 2 beds down here, which we've turned into the girls' kind of TV area, considering we only have the 1 TV there. So that's a bit of a luxury. They come in here. It's like their own private cubby house, movie cinema. So they hop in there and we find the girls and the dogs usually all in there together watching something. This that was Miller's bed has now become pretty much our Zoom platform. So I spin the computer around and you can sit here with a beautiful background and do Zoom lessons, whether that be schooling or piano or harp. It's got the trundle, which is great. So if we do have slumber parties or sleepovers in the future, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 girls all in the one room. And here, ample storage for everything that we need for the girls' home and schooling. Tell you what has been the best lifesaver is these little trolleys. Both the girls have one of these in their room. We can move them around, we can bring them out. And it's really teaching, perhaps training my children that if you've got places for storage, you can tidy up your room super quickly, super efficiently, and it always looks good. So rather than having your books everywhere, they stack straight into the trolley and you're good to go. And of course, no kid's room is complete without a desk, and this one is a little ripper. As I said, this becomes a bit of our Zoom space when we have to do Zoom meetings or whatever. It's all set up and ready to go. So, as I said, some amazing IKEA. Oh, missed one. The shelves, our bookshelf. So these are free floating shelves that you can get obviously at IKEA, and I just attached them with super glue onto the actual bed end here, and that's become our home library. So this is pretty much kid heaven, and I've got to say, it's all thanks to IKEA. So welcome to Pacifico Cottage. I hope you've enjoyed the tour, and I'm going to be sitting down with someone from IKEA. I'm sure you've heard of him before. We're going to have a little chat about some of these solutions.
Thank you so much, Shelley, for taking us on a virtual tour of your beautiful home. It's so light and bright, and I really love the 1950s beach house style. I'm Dan from IKEA, and I'm really looking forward to sitting down with you today and having a chat about your beautiful home.
Thank you very much. I'm very well. Thank you. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Now, I'd love to know a little bit more about what your home means to you. Can you explain a little bit further about that?
Oh, look, it's funny. I call them my forever for now homes because we do move a lot. My husband is in real estate. We live in beautiful Byron Bay, and there's always a new option. There's always a new project. So when we move into a home, we call it our forever home, knowing that it'll probably only be that for about 2 years. But look, home is where the heart is. Home is everything, and it should be a sanctuary. It should be a place that you're happy to come back to. And for me, that means a clean and tidy house for one, but one that there are no little projects left to do, which is, never, ever, ever going to happen in anyone's house, is it? There's always another project to do, even if it's just changing the washers. But it should be a sanctuary, and it should be safe, and it should really be the place where you can completely be yourself.
Exactly. I love that. I love that sort of idea. We know that the home means different things to different people, and at IKEA we certainly celebrate that uniqueness. What does the word home mean to you?
Hard work. No, look, home to me really is sanctuary. If it was one word, that'd be it. It's my sanctuary.
Now I see you've got a beautiful big comfy sofa there behind you. How important is it for you to have the whole family together in one space?
It's a lot more important now, I must say, even though we've all been living on top of each other for the last couple of months. It's really driven home that when you do have a lot of breakout spaces and a lot of places where everyone can disappear to and have their own time, you do miss that contact. So yeah, as you say, the lounge, we've watched more family movies in the last 2 months than we have in the 10 years that we've had kids. And it's one thing now that we really enjoy come night time after dinner to all jump on the couch, and there's a little roster system going of who gets to pick the movie for the night. There's been some questionable ones. My husband and I, we tried to drag some bad ones up from the 80s that we loved, and they're just not cutting the mustard. But yeah, to be here every night pretty much, cuddling on the couch is one of those lovely family moments.
Yeah, I'm sure making some really beautiful memories. What are some of your memories of home?
My parents were a bit the same as me. We built a few of our family homes. So home was always on the move. We didn't sort of have that family home for 30 years. I moved out when I was about 17. So home has been a very movable feast for me, I'd have to say. But again, as long as you've got that one place and that one space that you can truly call your own, that's your home.
As your daughters continue to grow, how is your life at home changing?
It's funny, isn't it? Every phase of a child's life is so different and their needs are so different. Again, we found moving from a bigger home than this into this smaller space, we've all really embraced it. And it's funny, I think at this point in their lives, being 7 and 9, and with that little bit of uncertainty in the world, I'm really glad that we do have that smaller space, whether it be the now dining table or the lounge, that we can all come together, and perhaps they're not disappearing off into their own little worlds quite as often. So at the moment, I think for the girls, it's very much a part of feeling as if everything's as normal as it can be, even though they're not seeing their friends or family as much.
Yeah, I mean, you're a very busy parent. How do you maintain and keep an organised and tidy home?
I think we're all busy parents. I don't think there's a parent out there that's not flat out. Look, as you saw on the tour, the house was particularly clean, and I'm not going to pretend that it's like this any other day of the week. So thank you for making me do a roundup. But I do have a couple of solutions. One, of course, is lots of storage, and however way you can work that into your rooms, it certainly helps. I remember as a kid, being able to open the desk drawer and just slide everything in. Well, I've kind of created that in all sorts of spots around the house. And baskets. Baskets is one of my greatest tips. If you can have a basket in every room of the house where things at the end of the day don't belong in that room, get put in the basket, and then you can just do a quick whiz around and drop everything back off. So that's an easy way to stay organised. Of course, having the solutions like storage containers and pencil boxes and those sorts of things just make everything that much easier. So if you set yourself up with some good storage solutions, your house can always look like this.
Speaking of storage solutions, I'm really obsessed with your banquette seating that you have, the storage bench seating. Can you talk to us a little bit about the inspiration behind those?
For sure. Well, we do have some banquettes throughout the house. So there's obviously one here in the dining room, which when the table is swung around the other way and not functioning as an office come classroom, it works as half the seating for the dining table with those big drawers underneath. And then in our sunroom, we've got the seats in there as well. Now, we built those in when we renovated for the fact that there was not a lot of storage within the bedrooms and not a lot of storage in any of the other rooms. So vitally important. And they sort of have that little retro spin to them as well. The pink leather on the top was a bit of a risk, I thought, but it paid off, and I love it, and I love the look. And they're certainly awfully comfy, and they function as day beds, they function as storage, they function as a dining banquette. So yes, multifunctional piece of furniture, and it's built in, sadly. Can't take those when I go.
You mentioned the pink leather seating, and you've painted the exterior of your house in a beautiful mint kind of colour. What's your process when you are choosing colours?
Look, I'm usually really cautious with colour. I do like that sort of monochrome look and everything in its natural fibres and natural textures. But with this home, it was a chance to have a lot of fun. When we bought the house, it was this baby blue, and so we always knew that we were going to have to paint it some bright colour just to keep the neighbourhood happy. Everyone knew the little blue house on the street, so it was one of those things that we tossed up what colour it would be. And I will say it was Christian's choice. I was going for something a little more tame, a little bit more toned down. But he said, hey, we're here. It's a fun home. Let's actually challenge ourselves and have fun with it. So there we have that beautiful green on the outside. And it does make us happy. Every time we drive in the driveway, it certainly lifts our spirits, and we're happy to come home. Australians are pretty conservative with their colour, as you would know. But having travelled a lot early on in my TV career with the Great Outdoors, you saw these amazing colourful homes all through South America and Mexico and Africa. They all love that colour, and they're all in the Southern Hemisphere too, weirdly enough. So we have this beautiful light, and I really think, take that bold step and add a bit more colour, whether it's inside or outside. You're certainly not going to regret it, and it does make you happy.
It definitely makes you happy. I love it. You've completed many projects in this particular home and many other properties of your own. What was one of your favourite home projects that you've completed?
Oh, this one is definitely my favourite to date because it was We call it a renovation. It probably should have been a knockdown, but we loved the shell. We loved the shape. And certainly coming into it, as I said, with that bright blue, gave us lots of ideas for what we could do inside. When we got rid of the asbestos, it was stud walls and a roof, and that was it. We didn't have a lot of time, so we didn't change any of the layout or the framing, and we kept the plumbing where it was to make it obviously quicker and easier for a reno we needed to get in. So this whole home is my favourite project. I love the fact that we did take the risk and move the sink over to the other side of the kitchen, and that was that one plumbing tweak that we made, but it gave us this beautiful island bench that is the heart of our home. So that would be my favourite in this house, I think.
When you start a new project, where do you get your style inspiration from?
I'm not very conventional with my mood boards and things. It'll come from either one element, whether it be the taps or perhaps the carpet, even the flooring. I'll often choose that first and then work everything else around that. And it often starts before I have a full idea of where it's going to end up and how it's going to finish. This home was with the brushed copper tapware. And then that set off, obviously, the kitchen and the colour of the flooring that we would choose. And, of course, then the colours for everything else. So, yeah, it's usually one little element. It could be the most random thing, like a throw cushion that I've seen that I really need to have. And so then I build the whole house around that.
One of the other features that I particularly like in your home is the fluted wall panelling and the matching wall sconces that you have in your dining area and around your kitchen island bench. How important for you is implementing or introducing texture into your home?
Texture is one of those beautiful things. And yes, as you say, whether it be the kitchen bench or some wall panelling, even the detail in your lights, it's just another layer. And all my time on the block, that's what I've learned from all the experts, is that to create that feeling and take your home to the next level from a design sense, it's really about the layering. That was really a fluke to get the wall panelling and the lights the same, but hey, it paid off. We did it.
Is there a particular item in your home that you would just never ever get rid of?
Particular item? No, I wouldn't say there is, Dan. I'm a bit fickle like that. So furniture comes and goes, homes come and go. It's the people and the animals that make it a home. So no, I'm not particularly attached to anything really. Obviously the artworks are something that I would love to take, but then they don't necessarily fit in our next place. So no, I'm fairly ruthless and I'm not too attached.
Very good. Shelley, you're constantly surrounded by inspiration on how to style and design homes. How often do you get the urge to change the decor in your home?
Oh. I'm known as the cyclone because if I'm not actually buying new homewares or bringing in new pieces of furniture, I'm just shifting stuff around. So even yesterday when we were getting ready for this, I decided that I'd just change entire rooms' layouts. So yeah, look, it's fairly common that I move things, shift things, change things, and makes it feel like new, right?
Absolutely. One of the spaces in your home that is quite new is your daughter's bedroom. Can you tell us a little bit about how she uses the new space?
Yeah, look, Edie really loves her room, particularly since her big sister, Miller, moved out and took over the spare room because now it's all hers. Look, I don't like them spending a lot of time in their bedrooms without supervision, but they do need a bit of breakout, particularly at the moment. So to be in there with her computer, she's very, very lucky. She does spend a lot of time chilling, really. She's a role player, so her favourite game at the moment is Offices. So she sets herself up there at her desk and is very much a very efficient CEO, I think. And we all get ordered around in the process. We all have our roles to play. But it's that ownership. And I think kids really love that and need that to feel like they have their own space. And look, we all need a few moments of peace and quiet from each other, as much as we love each other as a family. I don't mind so much at the moment when they take themselves off to their room. But, you know, Edie, we'd never get her out of there if I was honest. You know, she does love being in there and it is her sanctuary, absolutely.
What do you think Edie's favourite part of that room would be?
Definitely the bottom bunk. She's often, I'm in there sneaking a little bit of TV before anything else happens, but she'll often go in there and just read as well. So it is that feeling, that cocoon, to duck in there under the bunk, hide down the back, perhaps with a dog or two, but that's her favourite spot for sure.
Yeah, we all love a before and after. What do you think is the biggest difference between the before and the after of that bedroom?
Oh, well, before, it hardly had any windows. Obviously, once you took all the walls out, there was no windows, no walls, no nothing. So it's a huge transformation in there, but it was sort of a little bit dirty and a little bit grimy and not a lot of natural light. Now we've got all of that going on, and of course all that lovely colour that I'm usually a little bit nervous of. But I think for kids' rooms, you can try and be so aesthetic and have everything in its place, but they're still kids and they still love colour. So I'm just letting them run for it in this house, and we'll have another discussion for the next one.
Now, you showed us your fantastic pantry, and I think I've definitely got pantry envy going on here. With everyone isolating in their homes and bulk buying food and cooking more and filling their pantries with all sorts of things, what's one of your top tips for keeping a tidy pantry?
Oh, I think you've just, again, got to be pretty ruthless and go through your pantry on occasion and take out everything, whether used by dates, and make sure the lids are all screwed on and check those nuts that they are fresh, because often a lot of stuff goes off and you don't even know it. So I just say keep on top of it. It's the perfect time now to do a pantry makeover. And as long as you've got those storage solutions, you'll be sorted. But yeah, just rip it in and get it done.
I'm very inspired by the Lazy Susan. I think that's fantastic.
How good is the Lazy Susan?
Yes.
Please tell me that that's unique.
It's
Had
amazing.
You ever seen that before?
I've never seen that before, no.
It's a little bit 50s, a little bit of a throwback.
Love it. What's one of the biggest differences from your previous pantry to the one you have now?
Well, I didn't have a Lazy Susan in my previous pantry, I will tell you. And look, it was just a lot of open boxes and, half eaten bits and pieces, that it is really a waste. And I think if that's one thing that I've come to realise, that when you do have everything sealed up properly, how much money you're actually saving from food that goes to waste. And again, to be able to see it all laid out perfectly. Miller said to me the other day, "Oh, I didn't know we had any of these." And it's like, well, there they are in their beautiful glass dish. They'll be perfectly fresh. So yeah, my last pantry was a bit of a mess, and perhaps being that little bit bigger too, I didn't worry about it too much. But working with a small space, and of course, as you say, not being able to shop up as we usually do, I'd normally be an everydayer. To have things there and ready to go is really important, and to have them where you can see them is even more important.
Shelley, I've got one final question. Do you have any advice for Australians that are about to embark on a home renovation?
Ooh, I've got lots of advice. My first and probably the most vital is get your budget in order. There is no question that you will run over, and I guess the average is about 30% over what you thought you were going to spend. So make sure you budget for that. And don't forget furniture at the end of it. Often we spend all our money on the renovation and then have nothing left to decorate the home with and make it feel like new. You'd know yourself when you move to another house, but all your same furniture's coming in. Sometimes you feel like you just should have stayed where you were. So I would always say count furniture and home decorating into your renovation budget. My other biggest piece of advice is get the experts to do the professional work. If you're handy, that's awesome, and I say go for it. But if you know you're not particularly good, you're so much better at sticking at your day job and paying for the professionals.
Very good advice, thank you. And thank you so much, Shelley, for showing us your home today. We've really enjoyed seeing your beautiful house and getting to see a little bit about your family and the way you live. And thank you for sitting down with us and having a chat.
Absolute pleasure, Dan. Lovely to talk to you. Sorry, I know I chewed your ear off. My apologies. And thanks. Yeah, thanks for taking a tour of our little home.
Thank you, Shelley.
See ya.
Bye.